a treaty with Abimelech. At that time Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of the army, said to Abram, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me and with my descendants or with his posterity. But as I have dealt kindly with you, so you will deal with me and with the land where you have sojourned. And Abram said, I will swear. When Abraham reproved Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had seized, Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing. You did not tell me, and I have not heard of it until today. So Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two men made a covenant. Abraham set 7 lambs on the flock apart, and Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 lambs that you have set apart? And he said, these 7 lambs you will take from my hand, that this may be a witness for me that I dug these wells. Therefore the place will be called Beersheba, because there both of them swore an oath. But they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech and Phicol, the commander of the army, rose up and returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba and called there on the name of the Lord, that everlasting God. And Abram sojourned many days in the land of the Philistines. The sacrifice of Isaac, chapter 22. After these things God tested Abraham and said to him, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Take your son, your only son, Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there a burnt offering, one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his sons' men with him, and the son of Isaac, and he cut the wood for the burnt offering, and arose and went to the place which God had told him. On the 3rd day Abram lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar. Then Abraham said to his young man, Stay here with the donkey. I and the boy will go over there and worship and come again to you. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his back, his son, and he took his hand the fire and the knife, so that they went both of them together. And Isaac said to his father Abraham, My father. He said, Here am I, my son. He said, Behold the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering? Abraham said, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering, my son. So they went both of them together. When they came to the place of which God had told him, Abraham built the altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar. And on the top of the wood then Abraham reached out his hand, and took the knife, and slaughtered his son. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I. He said, Do not lay your hand on the boy, or do anything to him, for now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your hand, your only son, from me. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him was a ram caught in the thickets by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram, and offered it as a burnt offering instead of his son. So Abraham called the name of this place, The Lord Will Provide. It is said to this day, On the mount of the Lord it shall be provided. And the angel of the Lord called to Abraham a second time from heaven, and said, By myself I have sworn, declares the Lord, because you have done this, and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you, and I will surely multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven, and as the sand that is on the seashore, and your offspring shall possess the gate of his enemies. and in your offspring shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. So Abraham returned to the young man, and they arose and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham lived in Beersheba. Now after these things it was told to Abraham, behold, Milcah, and also he bore children to his brother Nahor, Uz his firstborn, Buz his brother, Carmel his father of Aram, Chase, Hazar, Pedash, Jalep, Bethu father Rebekah, and the eighth Milcah bore to Nahor, Abraham's brother. Moreover, he concubine, whose name was Rumah, bore Tebah, Brave, Tehash, Maach. Sarah, death and burial. Chapter 23. Sarah had lived 127 years. There was the years of the life of Sarah, and Sarah died at Kiriath Arba, that is Hebron, in the land of Canaan. And Abraham went in to mourn for Sarah, and wept for her. And Abram rose up from before his death, and said to the Hittites, I am a sojourner and foreigner among you. Give me property among you for a burying place, that I may bury my dead out of my sight. The Hittites answered Abram, Hear us, my lord, you are a prince of God among us. Bury your dead in the choices of the tomb. None of us will withhold from you his tomb to hinder you from burying your dead. Abraham rose and bowed to the Hittites, the people of the land. And he said to them, If you are willing that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me and entreat me of Hebron, the son of Zohar, that you may give me the cave of Machpelah, of which he owns. It is at the end of the field, and the full price let him give it to me in your presence as property for a burying place. Now Ephron was sitting among the Hittites, and Ephron the Hittites answered Abraham in hearing the Hittites, of all who went into the gate of the city, No, my lord, hear me, I give you the field, I give you the cave that is in it. In the sight of the sons of the people, I give it to you, bury your dead. Then Abraham bowed down before the people of the land, and he said to Ephron, in the hearing of the people of the land, But if you will hear me, I give the price of the field. Accept it for me, I may bury my dead there. Ephron answered Abraham, My lord, listen to me, a piece of the worth 400 shekels of silver. What is between you and me? Bury your dead. Abraham listened to Ephron, and Abraham weighed out to Ephron the silver that he had named in the hearing of the Hittites, 400 shekels of silver, according to the weight current among the merchants. So the field of Ephron in Machpelah, which was in the east of Mamre, the field of the cave that was in it, and all the trees that were in the field throughout the whole area, was made over to Abraham as a possession in the presence of the Hittites, before all who went in the gate of the city. After this, Abram buried Sarah in his cave in the field of Machpelah, east of the Mamre, that is Hebron, the land of Canaan. The field of the cave that is in it were made over to Abram as property for a burying place by the Hittites. Isaac and Rebekah, chapter 24. Now Abraham was old, well advanced in years, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. Abram said to his servant, the oldest of the household, who has charge of all that he had, Put your hand under my thigh, that I may make you swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and God of earth, that you will not take a wife for my son, for the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell, but will go to the country and to my kindred, and take a wife for my son Isaac. The servant said to him, Perhaps the woman may not be willing to follow me to the land. Must I then take your son back to the land for which you came? Abraham said to him, See to it that you do not take my son back there. The Lord, the God of heaven, who took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and who spoke to me and swore to me, To your offspring I will give this land. He will send his angel before you, and you shall take a wife for my son from there. But if the woman is not willing to follow me, then you will be free from the oath of mine. Only you must not take my son back there. So the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and swore to him concerning this matter. Then the servant took 10 of his master's camels and departed, taking all sorts of choice gifts from his master. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, and to the city of Nahor, and he made the camels kneel down outside the city, as well as the water at the time of evening, of that time when women go out to draw water. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, please grant me success today. Show steadfast love to my master Abraham. Behold, I am standing by the spring of water, and the daughters of the men of the city are coming out to draw water. Let the young woman to whom I shall say, Please let down your jar that I may drink, and who shall say, Drink, I will water your camels. Let her be the one whom you have appointed for your servant Isaac. By this I shall know that you have shown steadfast love to my master. Before he had finished speaking, behold, Rebekah, who was born of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, came out with her water jar on her shoulders. The young woman was very attractive in appearance, a maiden whom no man had known. She went down to the spring and filled her jar and came up. Then the servant ran to meet her and said, Please give me a little water to drink from your jar. She said, Drink, my lord. And she quickly let down her jar upon his hand and gave him a drink. When she had finished giving him a drink, she said, I will draw water for your camels also until you have finished drinking. So she quickly emptied her jar into the trough and ran again to the well to draw water, and she drew for all his camels. The man gazed at her in silence to learn whether the Lord had prospered his journey or not. When the camels had finished drinking, the man took a gold ring weighing a half shekel, and 2 bracelets from her arms weighing 10 gold shekels, and said, Please tell me whose daughter you are, in the room in your father's house for us to spend the night. She said to him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, whom she bore Nahor. She added, We have plenty of both straw and fodder, and room to spend the night. The man bowed his head and worshipped the Lord, and said, Blessed be the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who has not forsaken his steadfast love and faithfulness toward my master. As for me, the Lord has led me to the way of the house of the master's kinsman. Then the young woman ran and told her mother's household about these things. Rebekah had a brother whose name was Laban. Laban ran out toward the man to the spring. As soon as he saw the ring and the bracelet on his sister's arm, and heard the words of Rebekah his sister, Thus the man spoke to me. He went to the man, and behold, he was standing by the camels at the spring. He said, Come in, O bless the Lord. Why do you stand outside? For I have prepared the house and a place for the camels. So the man came to the house and unharnessed the camels and gave straw and fodder to the camels, and there was water to wash his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. Then food was sent before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have said what I have to say. He said, Speak on. So he said, I am Abraham's servant. The Lord has greatly blessed my master. He has become great. He has given him flock and servants, herds, silver and gold, male servants and female servants, camels and donkeys. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore a son to my master when she was old, and to him he has given all that he has. My masters made me swear, saying, You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell, but you shall go to my father's house, to my clan, and take a wife for my son. I said to my master, Perhaps the woman will not follow me. But he said to me, The Lord before whom I have walked will send his angel with you, and prosper your way. You shall take a wife for my son from my clan, from my father's house. Then you will be free from my oath. When you come to me, my clan, that they may not give her to you, you will be free from my oath. I came today in the spring and said, O Lord, the God of my master Abraham, if now I am standing by the spring of water, let the virgin who comes out to draw water, to whom I shall say, Please give me a little water from your jar to drink, and who will say to me, Drink, I will draw for your camels also. Let her be the woman whom the Lord has appointed for my master's son. Before I had finished speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came out with her water jar on her shoulders, and she went down to the spring and drew water. I said to her, Please, let me drink. She quickly let down her jar from her shoulders and said, Drink, I will give your camels drink also. So I drank, and she gave the camels drink also. Then I asked her, Whose daughter are you? She said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, who Milcah bore to him. So I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her arm. Then I bowed my head and worshipped the Lord and blessed the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me to the right way to take the daughter of the master's kinsman for his son. Now then, you are going to show steadfast love and faithfulness to my master. Tell me, if not, tell me that I may turn to the right and or to the left. Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing has come from the Lord, who cannot speak to you bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be the wife of your master's sons. And the Lord has spoken. When Abraham's servant heard these words, he bowed himself to the earth before the Lord, and the servant brought out the jewelry of the silver and the gold and the garments and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave to her brother and her mother costly ornaments. And he and the men who were with him ate and drank, and they spent the night there. When they arose in the morning, he said, Send me away to my master. Her brother and her mother said, Let the young woman remain with us a while, at least 10 days. After that she may go. But he said to them, Do not delay me, since the Lord has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. They said, Let us call the young woman and ask her. And they called Rebekah and said to her, Will you go with this man? She said, I will go. So they sent away Rebekah, their daughter, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and her men. And they blessed Rebekah and said to her, Our sister, may you become thousands and 10,000s, and may your offspring possess the gates of those who hate you. Then Rebekah and her young men arose and rode on the camel and followed the man. Thus the servant took Rebekah and went his way. Now Isaac had returned from Beer-halah, and was dwelling in Negev. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field toward evening. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, there were camels coming. And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she dismounted from the camel, and said to her servant, Who is this man walking in the field to meet us? The servant said, It is my master. So she took her veil and covered herself. And the servant told Isaac all the things that he had done. The Isaac brought her into the tent of Sarah, his wife, and took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her. So Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. Abraham's death and his descendants. Abraham took another wife, whose name was Keturah, and she bore him Zimran, Joshan, Midian, Ishbak, Shun, Jokshan, father Sheba, and Dedan. The sons of Dedan was Asheron, Luthasham, Amparam. The sons of Miriam were Epar, Hakat, Abadai, Eldar. All these were the children of Keturah. Abraham gave all he had to Isaac, but the sons of his concubine Abraham gave gifts, and while he was still living, he sent them away from his son Isaac eastward to the east country. There were days in the years of Abraham's life, 175 years. Abraham breathed his last and died in good old age, an old man full of years, and was gathered to his people. Isaac and Ishmael, his sons, buried him in the cave of Machpelah. In the fields of Ephraim, the sons of Zohar, the Hittite, east of Mamre, the field that Abraham purchased from the Hittites. There Abram was buried, and Sarah his wife. After the death of Abraham, God blessed Isaac, his son, and Isaac settled in Beer-lahai. These are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, who Hagar, the Egyptian Sarah's servant, bore to Abraham. These are the names of the sons of Ishmael, named in the order of their birth. Nebaroth, the first of Ishmael, Kedar, Abadil, Mishbah, Misham, Dimar, Moshe, Hadad, Timah, Jedar, Nekosh, Kedemash. And these are the sons of Ishmael, and these are the names by the villages and by their encampments, 12 princes according to their tribes. These are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. He breathed his last and died, and were gathered to his people. They settled from Havilah to Shur,